interviewer wants to know what you have done in the real world, so you will be questioned about your previous work and past experiences. The question can be phrased in different ways. On this slide, you see it in an extended length version. Tell me about your last 3 positions. Explain what you did, how you did it, the people you worked for, and the people you worked with. This question is designed to see how well you can organize what might be a lot of data into a brief, coherent overview of 3, 5, or 10 or more years' experience. It helps the hiring manager flesh out your resume, catch inconsistencies, create a roadmap for the more detailed questions to follow, and to evaluate how well you tailor your answers to relate your skills to the job at hand. A word about inconsistencies. It's a red flag to any interviewer to hear you talk about a position that's not on your resume, or to describe accomplishments that don't match up with what's on your resume. Be truthful and be accurate. If there are gaps in your experience, this question gives you an opportunity to explain those and fill in missing details. You might be asking, why don't they simply read my resume? Let us assume you've been careful in preparing your resume and there are no inconsistencies. Then your goals are: first, demonstrate your ability to summarize a lot of information, namely your professional history, into a coherent and brief overview. Demonstrate your communicative competence. Second, show you've put thought into how the combination of your experience, skills, and team-oriented approach, as demonstrated in your previous roles, will position you to contribute to the success of the team and the company you're interviewing with. Now let's see what John does with this question and the strategy he uses to highlight those skills and experiences of most value to United Health.
Yeah, so my work history has provided me with a number of different skills that I think are relevant to United Health. My ability to design and manage projects effectively, to stay organized and meet deadlines, and to make decisions based on data analysis. At my current job, I manage 2 IT projects related to financial services. One has a $1.5 million budget and the other a $3 million budget. I work with a team of 7 people and I manage 3 employees. I've drafted scopes of work with project milestones and timelines, and I've determined the level of effort for partners who are implementing our software. I manage the budgets of both projects on a day-to-day basis. My project management position in New York allowed me to really hone my time management skills. With a $2.1 million budget, I set staff and resource requirements for the portfolio of tasks in that project. I often worked under tight deadlines to develop organization charts and scopes of work. I also balanced competing priorities among collecting data, communicating with partners, and some marketing work as well. I learned some valuable methods for managing my time. Now, at both my internship and my New York position, I performed extensive data analysis with a focus on specific metrics that could assist our decision-making. I learned to be methodical and detail-oriented. Now, at my current job, I rely heavily on empirical data to ensure that the path we're on is backed up by evidence. In fact, I just recently suggested adding a feature to one of our programs based on usage data that we'd collected from our clients. We added the feature and have gotten great feedback on it. I'm confident that these skills, project management, time management, and data-driven decision-making, these are skills I can bring to United Health to help you achieve your goals of helping others lead healthier lives and driving innovation.
I'd like you to take note of the strategy John used. Notice how the experiences he relates all apply directly to the position he's interviewing for. He doesn't ramble, he doesn't wander off track and talk about experiences of limited relevance. Observe as well how he structures his response. He starts with a brief introduction to show that he has understood the question and to preview for the interviewer the skills most relevant to the position he is applying for. He then makes 3 points to demonstrate those skills. He limits what he talks about to those experiences directly relevant to United Health's needs. He closes by recapping the 3 skills he talked about and bringing the response back to the main idea, United Health needs and how John can contribute to them. John also uses a number of collocations that you can use in your interviewing. Let's look at 3 of the most productive ones. Relevant skills. These are skills closely connected to the job at hand. Relevant also goes with relevant information, relevant evidence, a relevant question, a relevant fact. And the preposition we use with relevant is most commonly to. Skills that are relevant to the position, information that is relevant to the problem, evidence that is relevant to the decision. John talks about meeting deadlines. In English, a deadline is the latest time or date by which something should be completed. The verbs that go with deadline are very specific. Set a deadline. Establish when the deadline is. Extend the deadline. Move the time or date further into the future. Meet a deadline. Complete a task by the latest time or date. Miss a deadline. Fail to complete a task by the latest time or date. English also uses the collocation to work under a tight deadline, meaning to work under pressure without much time to complete a task. Besides tight deadlines, another common adjective used in English to describe a deadline is firm. A firm deadline cannot be extended. You can set a firm deadline. A project can have a firm deadline. You can be working under a firm deadline. Finally, John talks about balancing competing priorities. A priority in English is something regarded as important. Common collocations with priority include a top priority, what is most important, a high priority, what is very important, a low priority, what is not very important. If high and low can be used with priority, then highest and lowest can also be used to describe a priority. English does not have the word toppest or most top, but it does have the words topmost or foremost, as in client health is United Health's topmost priority. What about competing priorities? Competing priorities means 2 or more high priority tasks that all require attention. To balance competing priorities means to manage your time so that all these priorities get the attention they need. So there you have collocations with relevance, with deadline, and with priority. 3 sets of language that you can use in many business situations.